afternoon. Myself, Ekta Dubey. And on behalf of Ozontel, we welcome you all on a very interesting virtual roundtable which talks about rethinking CX in education, crafting the next decade of personalized engagement. I would like to thank you for joining today's session, the audience, and our respective speakers. And we look forward to make it interesting and engaging with you all. We would be encouraging Q&A post our panel session. And also the attendees can put the questions and on the chat box from where we can take it up to make this discussion more interesting. So before we move on to the panel discussions, I would like to introduce Ozontel very quickly. Ozontel is an industry leader within the customer experience space, offering businesses a robust omnichannel platform to manage end-to-end communication flows. The platform helps enterprises to engage with customers at every touch point across voice, chat, SMS, WhatsApp, and other digital channels. It fully integrates with CRM and other business applications and offers a truly omni channel experience for customers. Today, our EdTech Roundtable discussion will gather interesting insights on how innovation is reshaping customer experience within education today, from omni-channel adoption to leveraging AI. And on that note, I would like to introduce our moderator, Mr. Jagjit S. Chaudhary, Regional Head India West from Ozontel, to take it from here. Thank you, Mr. Jagjit, for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you, Ikta, for introducing me to such a wonderful panel. And first of all, I would like to thank each one of the participants out over here on the panel for, giving us this valuable time for our discussions today, right? And I would also like to thank the audience for making it up for having this discussion today, right? And before we start, I just wanted to highlight one thing that before we are getting into the session, we had conducted uh, uh, one of the audience poll. We had conducted one audience poll, and we had got a tremendous response on what the audience would like to hear on this discussion. And post maybe this session, we will announce the lucky three winners. So would request everybody to please stay tuned till the end of the conversation, and we will take that from here. Okay. And just before we start this the entire round of discussion, today's discussion is around how do we we do a rethinking around the CX, which is the contact which is the customer experience in the education space. Since all of you are representing different organization, different institutions, right? The technology, you may be using technology in some form or the other, right? In terms of your students interacting with you, or maybe moderating, right? So we would want to understand what are the different touch points or different technology enablers that you are using in your kind of an environment, and how it has been boon. So we with this as in context, see, because technology is always an enabler, right? It will always help you to progress further. Some 20 years down the line, technology, we were only using those IVRs to declare some results, or discuss some kind of an course syllabus and all that stuff. But now, as the things have progressed, the technology has been evolving over the period of years, and we have been using it in some form or of the other. So we just wanted to understand from you, in your kind of an environment, how does that happen? How does that technology support you, and how do we look at the technology, what all we can do innovations to help to make sure that the customer, that is the your students journey, is seamless from the time we do them onboarding, we support them from the and till the time they pass out, right? So we want to see how we can help out over there. So just to set this context, I will just hit out at the first of the questions that I will have for our panelist out over here. So one thing we wanted to have an understanding from you is how can an leaders especially strategically leverage customer journey orchestration principles to seamlessly integrate and enhance the entire student life cycle, from the initial phase of acquisitions, as we rightly mentioned, right? From acquisitions to giving, ensuring that they get a good seamless experience, and then when they move out, they have a very particular, a very satisfying journey with an institution or an alumni, right? So wanted to have an understanding from you on what do we do about the student journey orchestration, and how can the approach elevate the overall student experience and contribute to the long term success for the education institution? So that's our first question that we want to discuss. So I will want to, I mean, have this discussion. Let me put it, Anjani ji, if you could just throw some light from your side, and then we can look at the other speakers on this.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jagdeep, and good afternoon to all of you and the audience from across the globe who are listening to us. Thank you for making me here, first of all. Thank you for the question, Mr. Jagdeep. And, after going through the entire gist of this engagement, I was going through one of the very good article published in Harvard Business Review some time ago. They published based on the customer experience in the age of AI. So from there, I got one insight. Exceptional, I would say, digital advantage supremacy has gone well beyond the boundaries of traditional marketing to become a much broader C-suite issue. What a wonderful statement to mention here that. And with this note, I would like to highlight some facts about the companies who are already digitally advanced. We are already living in an era in which companies are predominantly following all those gamut of engagement or user experiences or client experiencing experiences methodologies to attract the maximum population on their platform. You talk about Google, you talk about Amazon, you talk about Flipkart, you talk about Zomato, you talk about Swiggy. So starting from the basic offerings till the, I was again going through one information based on the Starbucks. They follow a geo tagging system and they try to attract their lapsed customers who have never turned up to their outlets or cafes and all, and again push their notifications with some good offers and how to attract them again back to their outlets. So I was trying to understand how these companies took the advantage of changing technology scenario. I was again, made to intervene or made to push this fact based on one of the mobile technology leader who somewhat, was the leader, back in early 20th century. But due to negligence or overconfidence of their existing management practices and technologies, they could not manage to adopt or manage to meet the pace of the changing technology scenario. They got out of the industry. Now, second point, since I'm from a life sciences background, I would like to use one word: metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is the life cycle: egg, caterpillar, pupa, and adult. Adult is the moth. With changing time, we also need to change ourselves. Educational institutions need to learn that how exactly they need to get involved with their stakeholders. And here stakeholders are students, the parents, who are not physically available all the time to see the resources that we are able to provide them. It's important, exceptionally important, to make every information available on their handheld devices all the time, with the help of which they may get all the information based on their interest areas. Like starting from the very basic thing, the students inquire about the educational institutions, basic information, what kind of courses they are offering, what are the future prospects for them. So students, let's say a 10 plus 2 student who is basically completely confused, wanted to know that what course basically is meant for him or her after 10 plus 2 in that particular education institution. A simple application or an interface, let's say WhatsApp chatbot. We just mentioned 10 plus 2 from science background with maths, without maths. Basis that information, educational institutions should be ready with their AI mechanism that they should be able to provide all the necessary courses or available list of courses which are available to the students. Along that's not all, because inquiry is the most important, happens to be the most important element, because from here the entire journey of the student with an educational institution starts. If this information is exceptionally rewarding for the student, then only they will going to continue their onward journey with the institution. Similar, at the same time, student is saying they are asking for the BTech placements. Immediately, they need to share insights related to their established alumni, notable faculty or scientists they are working in the institution, curriculum insights. This is only about the inquiry to motivate their candidates or expected students further and beyond. You know, after joining an educational institution, it's very important to maintain the harmony between the academic system also. When I was going through the discussions between Ministry of Education, I got to know that what exactly how AI can enable the students learning. I would like to highlight 2 3 points. Probably our esteemed panelists and the people who are listening to us may connect with the fact that personalized learning is an important element these days. You cannot see that what is being imposed to us, and similar thing can be imposed to the students of this generation. Improved assessments also. Students who are grading system should be optimized. Increased engagements. It's an era of IR and VR, virtual reality and augmented reality. While sitting in the classroom, students should be able to see with the stimulation labs and all what is there in the aircraft, how engines work. So this can only be made possible with the adoption of the technology. This will also going to increase the quality of teaching in the classrooms, which eventually going to help you in improvement of your rankings and accreditations also, and attract international students at your doorstep. And this will not only this, you may see the possibilities of attracting the brightest minds for your educational institutions, not with the compromised crowd who may look forward to take admission in your institution. One of the most important thing is beyond this uh, conducting academic journey till the alumni extent. It's not only about just bringing the admission and then maintaining the relation with the student. It is also important for us to ensure that the students who got graduate 50 years ago, we have to have that vision of educational institution, that even after 50 years, I am having a track of my alumni who is doing what in which continent across the globe. This adoption of technology or AI system, because I'm not going deeper into the fact that how this will be done at the moment, because here we need to know what we are doing and how we are planning the things, and what exactly the stakeholder the other side wants from an education institution. We today could see from the newspaper articles that so and so institution overseas are organizing their 150th alumni meet of their so and so alumni, because they have a strong repository of all the information. And back then, almost 50 years ago, those institutions, international institutions, could manage to have this concept that we have to retain our alumni bank also. Today, if we're not going to adopt that technology which will help us to retain our alumni, connect with our alumni, and enhance the network with our alumni, existing alumni, already alumni. I have a base of 200 plus 200 lakh thousand students, 2 lakh students, and roughly 2.2 million students have already got graduated from MIT universities across the globe. It's very essential for us to maintain the entire repository, because one day these all people will going to have a strong league amongst the leaders of the top leaders across the globe, and eventually they will going to come back to the systems and extend support to education institutions to enhance their academics and industry outreach. Over to you, Jagjit, for this.
Yeah, Anjani ji, I mean, it was very insightful. I mean, the things how, I mean, you are trying to see how you can orchestrate the entire journey, and keeping in mind, I mean, going forward, a kind of a brand building exercise that you're doing with your students, right? Which at the end of the 50 years, he should be able to, or he should be able to correlate. I mean, where exactly this comes in from. This was great insight. I mean, let's listen from Sandeep ji. Sandeep, so he represents a university, so I would want to his inputs as well on this, right? So you're talking on mute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jagdiji. And I'll continue with what Mr. Bhatnagar started with. And he very aptly explained the journey of experience, of a student experience, in fact, the learning experience. Uh, Compliments to the all panelists and everybody, those who organized this platform where we are discussing a very complicated issue. Why I'm saying that this is a complicated issue, because one thing we need to agree, I believe, and all the panelists, esteemed panelists, will agree that the path is not as smooth as it looks like. So it's smooth that we 10 people are on screen. We are sitting at different stations at different places. This is so flashy. This is so convenient. This is so good. There are many people who are listening us. So this is the one thing which is adding to the experience element of using technology. Now let's take it forward, and I am actually now extending Mr. Bhatnagar's point of view, which he rightly had. So the personalization is the one thing which enhances your experience. So the convenience is something very personal to all of us. People who are listening us, for example, people who are listening us today, this is their personal experience, that they are listening us with all the convenience they have. Convenience of place, convenience of time, convenience of gadget that they are using, maybe a mobile or a laptop screen, or maybe an LED where the laptop is connected and they are just watching and listening all of us. So this is an example, the best example, I think, to understand what is personalization. So it's a convenience that we have created. Second example, when we try to get some that convenience through technology for students, what is the first thing? What is the first thing? Today, if I want to take an admission in, let's say, tier one, IIM or IIT, uh, what's the first thing? What enhances my experience? I get to know that I have to appear for a entrance exam. This is the first experience. This is the first information that I get, that enhance my, that gives me a kind of a curiosity. Then people talk about the failure ratio, the percentage people will pass through that exam, for example, CAT, or similarly CA, or, that also adds to my excitement. So here the journey has started. When we come to a digital space, the technology which is available, let's say today, when a student, let's say, want to do something digitally, let's say want to do a complete program digitally, is that element of excitement existing, the same element of excitement? Is there any software, is there any technology which tells me whether I qualify to be a online learner? CAT tells me whether I'm eligible for MBA or not. JEE tell me whether I can be an engineer or not. But is there any mechanism which can give a kind of a kick to my mind and to my own personal experience? Yes, I can do everything digitally. I don't think so. That gateway is missing. So my experience start right away with the data munching. What is that? I'm a plus two graduate from XYZ board. I am 90% marks. I have done PCB or maybe PCBM everything, and I can be a next scientist. I can be a next engineer. I can be a next business graduate. But the excitement is missing. So I think when technology and that personalized experience needs to be enhanced, it should start from the very first point, which adds to the excitement of a student and a learner who is actually a user. This is something which is very, very important factor here. Now there are complete programs which are digitally available. We also run online programs. There are programs which are hybrid, in which we run in a hybrid way. And as we were discussing yesterday also, that all these things were available even before pandemic, but they were not valued the way they are valued now. Why? Because we experienced pandemic and we found technology as a godfather to help us in such kind of a crisis where we get isolated, and there is no point of contact with the world except the technology as a moderator who can make us or keep us connected to the world outside. I think that is also an experience, and it's a very, very personal experience. So personalization and personal experience, I think, is the one element. If that starts in the very beginning of a student journey, and all the digital space companies and the technology companies, if they start giving that kind of an experience to a learner, trust me, this will be valued a lot more than today. Even today, it is valued a lot, but the value will increase multifold. Uh, Data is very important thing. Mr. Bhatnagar already touched base that. Now, data is very important, and we are very innocent. We're very innocent. As a technology user, we go to Play Store, immediately download an app. We log in and we say, okay, only three questions asked: first name, last name, date of birth, and we logged in. So data driven, I mean, everything which is data driven is again a very important thing. But the student is not, as a learner, they are not exposed to the vulnerability of this data explosion. They are not aware what they're doing. So again, the second important point is, when we have to gather the preferences, even that data points should also be secured data points. Those data points should not be like, I mean, immediately a graph is made, and as we say in our physical setup, that 40% of the batch is from a science background and 30% of the batch is from commerce background. There should be some resistance. It should be data driven, but there should be some resistance, because that empowers the user. When I know that everything that I'm talking, everything I'm punching here is accessible to everyone, trust me, I'll be conscious. Everybody, all of us will be conscious. So this data handling in creating that student journey is also very important. For a student, we have seen it. Many of my colleagues in the panel, they'll understand, and even the listeners will understand how important for a student is to publish his grades after examination. if if I see my grades, let's say my CGPA stands for 6 and my grade is C, and it is on the screen, it's a data which is now upfront available. If it is available to everybody, then it's a big problem. So the second, after personalized experience, I think the second important thing is data management. Data management in a way which is conveniently available to me for myself, and I should feel that my data is secure. My achievements are secured. Whatever I achieve, it's with me. That's my asset. So my data is my asset. Another important thing which I was also understanding, uh, the platforms should be unified. When I say unified, should be accessible to the teachers, students, parents, administrators. So these unified platforms can actually help the student journey in even a better way. So opening multiple windows, of course not, and even a single window entry. And in that, there are categories where I mean, the majority of softwares are working that way only. But again, uh, the compatibility is also an issue. It should be compatible. It should be all the windows should open in the mobile. All it should be accessible everywhere. There should be virtual collaboration spaces also, where the people can immediately get in touch with somebody. Now, if everything is digital in student journey and there is no human touch, trust me, they will lose all excitement. A human touch is also a very, very important participant in increasing the seamless journey of a student. So for me, personalized learning experience, which is very, very personal for a student, and starting from the first point, whether I'm an eligible online user or not, right, starting from that point till I pass out and get back to my alma mater and stay connected with my alma mater, as Mr. Bhatnagar also said. And second, data privacy and the data which should be my personal data, and it should not be open to all, and a unified communication platforms and virtual collaboration spaces. So if we do these 3 4 things, then probably this is a very safe place for a student community to operate as a learner. I mean, this is my initial viewpoint.
Yeah, Sandeepji, I mean, it was very good. I mean, that you covered the entire thing from the personalization. How, I mean, if there is a data, then the AI engine acts on the data, right? And over a period of time, it does that analysis. And you also stressed upon the point of the data security, right? Which has to be taken into consideration. And looking at the orchestration of the customer or the student journey, if there is an omni-channel kind of an experience where you are able to trap the entire journey and give them that kind of an experience, that really matters. Thank you so much for these insights. There are some organizations which are already doing certain things, so I will want to maybe few of them have been doing with running with different technologies. So Abhishek Mukherjee, can I have your inputs? I understand, I mean, you have been doing certain things in that particular zone, right?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jagjeet. I think very, very fascinating to hear Mr. Anjani and Mr. Sandhir talk about their experiences from the university side of things, right? And I just wanted to sort of give a little bit of background, right? I've worked primarily in the area of customer experience in the last 4 to 5 years, but had a very unconventional path. I worked in the area of big data and AI earlier in my life with McKinsey and Company, and then did general management. So I've sort of seen the whole journey, and then landed up in customer experience and understand the importance of experience. Right. One slight thing I want to like to point out to Mr. Sharma before sort of getting into my views here. A lot of the online companies actually existed, especially the upskilling companies, right? Existed since 2007, 8, 10, right? I worked in a company called Simply Learn. I think COVID just sort of accelerated the growth. And it also post-COVID, we've seen some rationalization happening in the correction happening. But they've been around, so they've been experimenting with the technology of delivering quality education in an online platform, right? So it's evolved to a great extent now, and I happen to lead learning delivery for Simply Learn for about 3 years. So that was the upskilling side of things, and then currently I'm working for a K-12 math startup called Bhanzu. So I have a ringside view of how this plays out, or how customer experience plays out in the K-12 space, right? I think I sort of agree with the overarching principles that both the panelists have sort of mentioned, right? Personalization and having collaboration spaces, all of that. That's spot on, right? I think the only 2 or 3 things that I would like to add from um, at least from an online space, there's also a heavy customer support angle there, right? Because customers do reach out. I think when I probably was doing my MBA from ISB, I didn't reach out to the administration guys as often as I see in the online space, customers reaching out to us, and that's because online learning has its own nuances, right? And there, I think the principles obviously remain the same. The customer experience principles remain the same. Try to reduce the reasons for customers reaching out to you to the extent possible. Make it easy for them to reach out, right? So it's omni-channel, multi-channel, multilingual channels in some ways, right? And that's what I think GPT is allowing us to do. And I'll get into those things maybe further down. And then obviously timely resolution, quality of resolution, all of that is very important, right? Customer experience starts pre-sales as well. Obviously, I'll not get into that. Your marketing brochures from there, how you position them, your entire sales funnel is optimized using some principles of customer experience, right? But my job starts from the onboarding of the customer in an online setup, right? Onboarding itself is a very important task, and we are trying to do it at scale. We in Simply Learn, we used to have about 10 12,000 customers joining us every month. So when you deal with that kind of volumes, you obviously have to come up with processes and use technology to the greatest extent possible. Orientation sessions, onboarding itself became a very large technology initiative to reach out to as many customers as possible. Then just to sort of onboard people and make them understand your platforms, right? How does the LMS work? How do the apps work, right? A lot of their experience downstream gets impacted when they were not onboarded properly, right? And that's what we try to resolve, right? And then, post that, it's pretty much about uh, using technology at every learning milestone, right? We define it as reactive and proactive, right? Reactive is whenever a customer is reaching out to us, what lines of defense we have, and proactive is when we need to reach out to the customer to nudge. Somebody's not attending classes, somebody's dropping off, somebody is needs help with assignments. Can we predict that and help them, right? I think there's a lot of technology usage that we are. I think the online companies probably are doing this way more. We are dabbling with NLP based chatbots, again powered by GPT. We are dabbling with AI assistants. Can I be non-linear in my class efficiency, right? One trainer to 200, 300, 400 learners. Today, in the K-12 space, we are dealing with mostly, smaller sizes, 3 students or 5 students. But can I make that truly non-linear, right? Which means the teacher doesn't have time to answer all queries, but can an AI assistant do that in the class, right? So that is there. I think then obviously you still have the human touch in terms of either customer life cycle managers or teaching assistants helping out customers beyond classrooms when they have content related doubts. But that is the space that I think is going to get disrupted, and I might I might sound too optimistic about the technology that's coming our way, but I'm seeing it play out in front of me every day, right? And especially with GPT-4 Turbo coming in and a lot of others similar technologies, really fueling this growth in this space. So I believe customer experience and customers' learning experience in the online space will get disrupted in the next couple of years. And I think Sam Altman has also alluded to it, that I think healthcare and education are two spaces that will truly be disrupted. And I'll be very happy to be a part of that disruption, Jagjit, as we've spoken. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's my perspective on this. Anything specific that you want to understand, I would be happy to.
Yeah. Sure, Abhishek. I mean, we understand. I mean, you coming in from the online, you have been through the technology in and out. And just on a lighter note, Simply Learn is our customer as well.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
so we we
absolutely. Yeah.
we, we
Well,
understand where you're coming in from. So let's. I mean, we heard the universities, we heard the online. Let's hear from Sarang from a different perspective on what are his views on this, right? Sarang, if you could just throw some light on this.
Sure. Thank you so much, Jagjit ji. Welcome everyone. Sorry, I'm just a little down with some bit of a viral. So apologies for the voice. Thank you so much, Anjani ji, Sandhir sir, Abhishek for your wonderful thoughts. I'm coming from more of a student onboarding process or for converting prospects into actual paying students for universities or for online programs. And that's what I've been doing for the last decade, with different brands, with different universities, more in the higher education space, for Indian students wanting to pursue an education abroad. So I'd see that's what we try and link. We do work with a lot of Indian universities as well, and we try and also help them form connections with international universities. So the overall role that I've had over the last few years has been about talking to, understanding the customer. I think that's where we need to, we advise brands, international brands also, on how to reach Indian consumers for their masters or their MBA programs or for undergraduate as well. Um, I think the first step is to understand the consumer. We look at so many brochures and we have so much content on the website for Gen Z learners who want to scroll on Instagram and get the information. They want to send messages on WhatsApp and want to get the information immediately. Then they will respond 2 days later on Instagram at 2 a.m. and they want immediate gratification for all the information that they need as part of so it's not traditional anymore where just the brochure is the best marketing piece. I think brands need to be there online. Brands need to be there, while the a target audience is scrolling on their phones at wee hours of the morning. You want the brand to be there in some form or the other. And since we're talking of rethinking, the overall customer experience is not only when the brand is interacting with you, but when you want to also interact with the brand at different stages. So I think the questions that policymakers, decision makers are asking is, where do we find the where do we find the consumers? What do they like? What do they dislike? How do we reach out to them? Lot of discussions on how, what is the length of a lead form. Is it fine if we just do first name, last name, mobile number, and then call them and try to qualify them, versus do you want to have all information on the form? What if people drop out? So that's a little bit of a challenge. There's a lot of discussion. We are doing some A/B testing to also understand for our audience, what kind of forms are better. We're also looking at how to make the brochures, how to make the website, and how to make content more easily consumable. We do a lot of work for universities on content marketing as well. So we've realized students like listicles. So, 5 reasons why studying in this makes sense. A particular geography, you're studying in France makes sense for an Indian student, and have pictures, videos of Indian students there. So, my overall thought on this is to, you know, uh, in theory, it's easy to say, customer centricity, keep the customer in the center uh, of your policy making, of your idea generation, making and thinking. But to go deep down into this, we spend a couple of weeks at our company just focusing on what the customer likes to do. We do a lot of surveys, a lot of data collection. We also hear from a lot of universities, and I know that there are some universities reps here that would also confirm to what I'm saying. We've got so much data, right? And we want to make sense of the data, but we don't have time, and we are not specialists at this. So we're trying to help universities also make sense of data so that they can make marketing decisions in a better way. So I think, collecting data is the easier part, making sense of that data and actually exercising and making decisions basis the data for students, prospective students you've collected is the difficult part. So integrations of tools, I think, is the most important element that I wanted to cover here. Is your WhatsApp business connected to what your social is saying? And all these elements are connected to the central repository, which is a CRM. And once you click on that lead, all the information you get about that lead will help you to determine, how easy or difficult would it be for that lead to close. So integration of multiple platforms, social platforms, platforms like WhatsApp business, the email, etc. All this on one single repository, and those systems talking to each other is something that again, in theory sounds very easy, but when it comes to execution, there's a months and months of work that goes into it. So the overall theme or thought of my idea is more to talk about connecting systems and being there not only where you want the customer to be, but you also want to be, spending your marketing budgets on YouTube shorts, on Instagram reels, because if your consumer is there, you want to be there too. So yeah.
Yes, Arang. I mean, this was. I mean, I think this was apt to the point where the exactly we are trying to leverage the technology, right, with keeping things at in getting the customer journey organized, right. We are trying to map different things. It looks simple, but I mean, there is a lot of work that needs to be put in. There's a lot of data that is required to do this. We truly understand this. As I mean, mentioned by all of you guys. I mean, earlier that I mean technology does definitely support. Now this lands up to me with another question, which is for the audience, where we would want to have a discussion. What we talk about is we talked about the orchestration layer of students. How do we capture them through the omni channel, maintaining that data and all that stuff, right? Now we would want to understand while doing this, how are organizations enabling counselors to seamlessly switch between the offline and online and the hybrid kind of an engagement models. Since we cannot be only relying on technology, or it cannot be only physical being done, right? It has to be a mix of both. So want to understand from your perspective, what is the kind of mix that you feel there is a physical thing that is required, that will still be there, and what kind of the technology will really support is what we wanted to have your understanding on it. So I'll just hand it over to Harshji. Harshi, I think you joined in late. Sorry, we missed out on the initial part of the discussion, but definitely we will want to hear from you. What will be the kind of mix that we are looking at, right?
Hi, good afternoon, all the esteemed panelists. Apologies for joining in late. I got caught up in an existing meeting, which
Yeah.
ended up a bit late than scheduled. So again, I welcome you all and thank you for having me as a panelist in this very important discussion, not only keeping student as a center, but also all of us who are at the other side of the table. And we are the one who is actually making this happen for students and all the stakeholders. See, when we talk about how we are being able to train our counselors and our people who are involved in admission day-to-day activity, both in online and offline space. See, one thing we have to understand that as a post-COVID era, I have already started calling it a post-COVID era. I think 2023 year admission process was the new normal and was the actual post era of COVID when everything actually fallen in place. All the admission process, everything which was allied and related activities actually happened as per the normal schedule. All the CBSE examination, all the college examination, more or like happened on time. The results were declared accordingly. So we have to understand here that the maximum area where I think we all institutions, especially in the university space, worked on was making our digital presence very strong. And when I say digital presence, this starts from the website of our universities and our institutions, where all those informations which were not earlier part of the websites earlier were made part. And one of the most important area was our digital campus tour. Fine. If I talk about my university, I had admissions for OP Jindal Global University, and 70% of the students come to our university from other part of the country other than the local presence, which is Delhi NCR. And out of those 70% students, hardly 10% are able to manage to travel this far and see the campus and then go back and then take a decision, right? So training our counselors becomes very, very important. Uh, and the tool, one of the most important tool, as I said, is the virtual tour of the campus. That is one. Second, of course, uh, when it comes to counseling for programs they want to join, one-on-one discussion becomes very important. So what we actually did train our counselors was on how to effective counsel students and parents online. Fine. Because when you sit offline with a parent or a student, the body language plays a very important role. Fine. When you are sitting face to face with someone with a body language, and they also open up when they sit with you offline. So that was one of the tedious tasks we as an institution and we as somehow slightly higher in the corporate ladder had to train our counselors to understand how to counsel online with the parents and the students. And there are certain set of tools, some presentation skills were enhanced with these counselors. As I said, virtual tours plus uh, when we talk about universities, all these universities like us offer more than at times 100 of programs. Fine. So to develop these counseling tools, to develop these presentations, to develop some video messaging, to equip our counselors to be able to present in a way that even when the students and the parents are not sitting face to face, they are being able to showcase our institution or the institution they are representing in a similar manner. So that has taken a complete shift, which has happened because of this boom in the online era. Uh, that's what I would add here, and then I will come back when the discussion progress. Thank you.
Yeah, Harshi, thank you so much for this inputs. As you rightly mentioned, the pandemic just became a catalyst.
Yes.
And fast tracked everything, right? Though technology was always there, but
Hmm.
it gave in the momentum. It showed that what technology can act as a boon to our segment, right?
Yes.
Yes. So, Ajay ji, can we have your inputs on this, please?
थैंक यू जगजीत जी, थैंक यू अंजी, अंजनी जी, संधीर जी, अभिषेक जी, सभी ने यहाँ पर अपनी ओर से काफी कुछ हम लोगों को बताया है, और जिसके माध्यम से हम लोगों को काफी कुछ जानने का मौका मिला है। तो हमारी ऑडियंस भी क्या कुछ हम लोगों से जानना चाहती है, वो भी अपने पॉइंट्स यहाँ पर शेयर कर सकते हैं, ताकि हम लोग बाद में उनके साथ भी कनेक्ट कर सकें। उनके भी जो भी क्वेश्चन होंगे जरूर हम उनका रिप्लाई करेंगे। आई कम फ्रॉम टेस्ट prep category. As a response to the endemic restrictions and health advisories, the traditional mode of receiving and imparting education has been a massive shift. जैसा कि संधीर जी, अंजनी जी, आप लोगों ने देखा भी होगा कि बहुत बड़ा शिफ्ट हुआ है। Not only have government schools, teachers and students become open to the shift in pedagogy, but also the Indian edtech industry has seen, we can say, कि 32x increase in funding in 2022 as compared to 2010। और अभी हम फिलहाल देख ही रहे हैं कि लर्निंग मॉडल्स जो है हमारे, वो टर्निंग टुवर्ड्स हाइब्रिड। मैं जैसा कि ऑफलाइन भी काम कर चुका हूं, लगभग 5 साल मैंने ऑफलाइन काम किया, और पिछले 5 साल से जो है मैं ऑनलाइन काम कर रहा हूं। तो हमारा जो फोकस रहता है विद टूल्स, वो के मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स जो भी एस्पिरेंट हैं आज टेस्ट प्रेप कैटेगरी के अंदर, जो कंपटीशन वर्ल्ड के अंदर, लाइक कोचिंग इंडस्ट्री के अंदर लगे हुए हैं कि बेस्ट से बेस्ट कंटेंट हम लोगों को मिल सके, हम लोग गवर्नमेंट जॉब में जा सके, उन लोगों के लिए काम करना लाइक हमारी प्रायोरिटीज रहती है। हम उनके लिए काम करते हैं। फिलहाल पिछले 10 साल से लगातार मैं उनके लिए काम कर रहा हूँ। तो अभी हमारा फोकस है कि कैसे हम लोग जो है विद एआई, हर एक जो बच्चे के माइंड में डाउट रहता है कि कैसे मैं उस क्वेश्चन तक पहुंच सकूं जो क्वेश्चन मेरे पेपर में आने वाला है, बच्चे को हम लोग विद टूल्स और टेक्नोलॉजी जो है उस लेवल पर लेके जाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। क्योंकि हर बच्चा जो है वो बस यही जानने के लिए हमारे पास में आता है। एट द एंड कंक्लूजन में आप लोगों को बताऊं तो, कि इतना सारा कंटेंट है, इतना सब कुछ है, उसमें एग्जैक्ट वो चीज मुझे मिल सके कि जो मेरे पेपर में आने वाला है। बस मुझे वो चाहिए जो मेरे पेपर में आ रहा है, जिससे कि मुझे नौकरी मिल जाए। और सीएक्स इज नो लॉन्गर ए लग्जरी बट ए नेसेसिटी, especially for the edtech sector in the post-pandemic world, when edtech companies invest in customer experience to improve agent experience, adopt new technologies, and put customers at the heart of everything they do, इट इंक्रीज ब्रांड लॉयल्टी एंड इम्प्रूव बिजनेस आउटकम्स। तो देखिए, फायदा बहुत है हम लोग जब अपने कस्टमर के एक्सपीरियंस के साथ में जाते हैं तो। और एडटेक जो एक बहुत बड़ी इंडस्ट्री है, उस इंडस्ट्री के अंदर हम लोग किस सेगमेंट में काम कर रहे हैं, हमारी जनता को वहां पर क्या चाहिए है, वो किस तरह से, किस नजरिए के साथ में क्या कुछ चाहती है, हमारा फोकस वहां पर ज्यादा होना चाहिए। और मैं अपने एक्सपीरियंस के बेस पर ये कहना चाहूंगा आप सभी को कि जो जिस फील्ड में काम कर रहा है, जरूरी नहीं कि उस फील्ड में ही जो उसको एक्सपीरियंस मिल रहा है वही बेटर हो। हम लोगों को कभी कभी दूसरे फील्ड के भी जो एक्सपीरियंस है वहां से भी काफी कुछ देखना चाहिए, सीखना चाहिए, ताकि हम लोग उसके माध्यम से और क्या कुछ जनता को बेटर दे सकते हैं। तो अभी हमारा जो फोकस है वो डायरेक्ट हमारी जनता तक एग्जैक्ट उस कंटेंट को पहुंचाने पर रहता है, जिससे उसके एग्जाम क्रैक हो जाए। और अभी भी काफी कुछ है जो हम लोगों को एडटेक के अंदर फिलहाल तो सीखना ही है, क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट जो है वो हर साल बहुत सारे चेंजेस लेकर आ रही है। हम लोग देख भी रहे हैं 2020 में जो हमारी एनईपी आई थी उसके अंदर एजुकेशन का डिजिटलाइजेशन करने पर ही जोर था सारा का सारा। और आफ्टर एनईपी हम लोगों ने देखा कि डिजिटलाइजेशन पर गवर्नमेंट का काफी फोकस है, और 2030 तक हम लोग पाएंगे कि इस सेक्टर के अंदर बहुत बड़े चेंजेस हो जाएंगे। तो कस्टमर सेटिस्फेक्शन बहुत जरूरी है, और एनी टाइम लर्न एनीवेयर इस मुद्दे पर ही, और लगातार इसी पॉइंट के साथ में वो लोग काम कर रहे हैं।
नहीं अजय जी, आई मीन वेरी गुड। आई मीन आपने मतलब एक तो आपने राष्ट्रभाषा यूज की है, वो बहुत अच्छा लगा हमें। हम सब यहाँ कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि मतलब वी आर ट्राइंग टू एड्रेस इट, बट दिस इज वेरी जेन्युइन। आई मीन यू सेड इट वेरी राइट, and we take your valid inputs on this, and maybe I mean there are different segments। अगर आप देखो तो अलग अलग segments है, कुछ universities हैं, कुछ edtech हैं, कुछ aggregators हैं, right? All of us are, I mean moving towards that education only. How do we enhance, right? Customer experience को हम कैसे use करें? That is what we are trying to figure out in our particular segment, right? अभिषेक शर्मा जी, आप आपके views, sir.
जी, थैंक यू जगजीत जी, और डॉक्टर संधीर, थैंक यू सो मच, अंजनी, अभिषेक, हर्ष सर, अजय, आपका भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आपने अपने विचार बड़े अच्छे ढंग से साझा किए हम सबसे। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर दैट। एंड so Jagjit ji, I was just when I got the invite to this topic, and I think Ekta had probably reached out to me, and I was very quick to say yes. And one of the reasons was that this topic, as such, was something which was very close to me personally, as well as the organization that I represent, which is Vidya Mandir. And there are various reasons. So see, after completing my MBA from Indian Institute of Management almost 20 years back, I have spent most of my career in the education sector only, right? And and Vidya Mandir, for that matter, has been in this field for almost 4 decades now. That we have been the leading go-to place for IIT entrance, or now as we call it, the JEE examination. Now, though we are in the medical and study abroad also, but our mainstay has been JEE for almost 40 years. And two parts of the topic. One was the customer experience, which I would, in this case, like to use the word as student experience, because many times people don't like to use that word customer in the education industry or education ecosystem. And the other is the focus on the technology. And I personally have been an advocate of using technology in various places, and probably nothing better than education being the first place that the student encounters it. And of course, it enriches the experience. It makes the overall journey smoother and better. From the Vidya Mandir's perspective also, I would like to highlight at least 2 or 3 incidents. Like, I think Dr. Sandhir had probably mentioned that most of these things were already available. So I could just relate to some of the things that we had done. So like I was talking to a few people yesterday, and even 5 years before IITs went online with the JEE examination, Vidya Mandir was already conducting online examination, mock classes, doubt clearing in 2007, 2008. So which was almost 5-6 years before IITs did it. The online classes had started almost 10 years before the pandemic. And what was the outcome of this? The outcome of this was that when the lockdown hit us, I think it was in the last week of March, 20, within 48 hours, we were able to take almost 40,000 students online. And when I say online, I mean online in their classes, online in their notes, in their assessments, in their doubt clearing. The entire system was able to move online very fast. Why? Because we had already been doing this for a very long time. Things like pandemic or things like demonetization, what they basically did was they gave a very big spark to the, to probably the explosive which was already there. The explosive was there, probably the matchstick was also there. They just had to be united. And though pandemic wasn't a very good situation or good thing to happen, but like they say, every cloud has a silver lining, and probably extremely fast digitization was a direct result of pandemic being upon us. As far as, since we're talking about the education as a field, overall student journey traditionally can be divided into 3 major parts. One is, of course, the pre-acquisition part. Other is the process of enrollment, though it's a very short of time duration, but it becomes extremely important when we look at the sustainability of the organizations. And third is the servicing or the pedagogy part. These days, like I think Anjani was the first one to mention it, the alumni engagement has also come to the fore. But traditionally, where technology has been used extensively, have been the first 3 parts. So if we talk about the pre-acquisition, obviously, identifying the target segments. And when we say target segments, students are not the only target segments, because students maybe are consumers, but the real customers, the people who, because in India, education till even graduation is supposedly the responsibility of the parent. And parent ends up becoming a huge influencer or a customer for us, for anything that to do with education. And when we talk about it, when we talk about an outreach, Is online the right way? Is offline? Is hybrid? Or is it institutional linkages? I think all of them have to work together. There is no way that they cannot work together. You know, the challenges in reaching out to different geographies. I think Harsh sir had mentioned that most of the students that he gets do not come from the location, which is university is that, but from different corners of the place, different corners of the country. And I'm sure it is true for the economic conditions also. It would not be that only the SCCA or SCCB come to his college. People would be coming, so there would be meritorious students who can probably not be able to afford if you did not have those kind of policies, to people who could have probably afforded education outside India as well, who have been coming. Uh, Enrollment process, if we talk about, it has to do two things. One, it has to be extremely robust to filter out the most sincere or the serious candidates. At the same time, it has to be extremely seamless. It has to be wrinkle free, so that student doesn't encounter a challenge. The enrollment process itself doesn't act as a defeatist in our overall strategy of the enrollment, right? And I think one of the biggest learnings that all of us saw was, and I'm sure many of us have been from the university background. So, UGC has very strict guidelines for the admission process. But in the year 2020 and 21, I think almost every university innovated, ensured all the UGC guidelines are followed, and still got the admission without meeting the students even once. And Dr. Sandhir, I see nodding his head, and Anjani must have gone through similar experience. Harsh, I cannot see, but I'm sure they can probably vouch for everything that I'm saying over here. The biggest challenge, or probably I think biggest underutilization of technology, however, or not, let me not say biggest underutilization, but probably the biggest scope of improvement that we see is during the servicing. Just having or holding a class over a Zoom or a Blackboard or, Cisco systems is not enough. We have to understand what are the unique things which technology provides us, and are we able to utilize them. So technology allows us to have an excellent mechanism for 360-degree feedback, and I mean giving feedback and receiving feedback, and having that feedback real time acted upon. So any kind of red flag which is raised, any kind of things which would have otherwise passed or would have gone unnoticed because of the paperwork, technology allows you to reach to the VC of the university in seconds, right? So that advantage, if we are able to accept, if we are able to imbibe in our organization culture, then I think we would be able to say that we have been able to do the best for the student. And we talk about alumni engagement. I'm coming to the probably the fourth part of this, alumni engagement a lot. So just having alumni meets is not enough over here. We have to be genuinely interested in the future of our alumni, because we have to give them a strong reason to be associated with us. We have to understand that as an education institute, we probably have the biggest impact of the life of an alumni apart from their parents. But in most of the cases, we do not have any reasons to engage with them, and they do not find very strong reasons to engage with us. If we are able to show a genuine interest in their future, especially their career part, which means, not only just tracking them, but genuinely applauding them on their achievements. Or on the flip side, maybe extending a genuine, heartfelt, gesture or support when they are, when they are probably going through a difficult time. That is what is going to make a real difference to our alumni engagements. So, technology as a tool, we have to understand that it is not an end in itself. So what do we seek from technology? What we seek is that a student who has come to us, his or her potential should be enhanced. Student came to you at a level X. Have we made a difference? Have we, moved the needle from X to X plus Y? And technology or any kind of interaction that we as an education place have with the student rests completely on this. But yes, technology in anything, what does it do? Technology is always faster. Technology is always more accurate. These are the things that we understand. Technology allows us mass customization. These are the things that we can say are true for technology anywhere. But one thing that we, a couple of things that we also realize for technology is that technology is all pervasive. It spreads, it spreads very fast. And more time it spends in a system, faster is the rate of technology spreading. Second is technology has a high level of, I should say, stickiness. Once it enters into a system, you cannot get technology out of the system. Almost irreversibility of technology, you can say, right? And third is technology brings with itself lot of democracy in the system, lot of inclusivity in the system. It provides power to everyone. It provides equal potential to use the power to everyone. Even if someone does not utilize it, that's a choice which rests on them. But technology allows you, it gives you the it allows you, it gives you the potential to use that power. And and sometimes these are able to work miracles. Just to give you an example, so unified payment interface have been in action for quite a lot of time, but it was only post demonetization or post pandemic that the numbers grew to mind boggling size. Last year, I think this year in November, we crossed 1100 crore transactions, which is more than 1000 crore transactions in a single month in a country like India. And the value of those transactions was probably 15 lakh crore or something like that. And who are the people using it? Is it only the middle class which is using it? No, absolutely not. You go to any corner, anywhere in the, probably, you go to mountains or you go to the remote villages, you will find there is a shopkeeper who has that QR code of the, UPI being there. So the inclusivity, the pervasiveness, the irreversibility of technology, these are the things that if we are able to understand, we would be able to serve our students, we would be able to satisfy the parents to a large extent. And that is what I believe.
Yeah, Abhishek ji. I mean, it was though it was a quite some long. I mean, but really, I mean, you said it very right. I mean, technology has been a boon, and because of this, it's just act as a catalyst. And we were explored, right? It was always there, but it explored a lot many things for us, and there is a lot of room for innovation, right? Where we
Yes.
look at going forward, how do we do that, right? Nehar, I will hand this over to you because I think you're the last one. I mean, who has not been speaking. So please, Nihar, if you could just throw some light on this.
No, thanks, Jagjit, and great insights and points from everyone around. So the industry we represent, right? Education, it is a very high trust and deep touch industry, right? And the users we are dealing with, the Gen Z audience, they are restless. So anything, say my Swiggy app goes down, I can always order from a Zomato or walk up to the next restaurant and have a very healthy and happy meal. If my Instagram goes down, I can entertain myself on a YouTube. But if my customer experience, if my experience goes down for education, I will be literally pissed off, right? I lose the trust in the university or any educational institution that I've enrolled myself for. And I lose it for life, and the word will spread quite fast. And hence, customer experience becomes quite important. One, because we are shaping the future of millions of people. Two, we are representing a brand, and that's where technology has a very important role to play uh, in all the aspects, right? I mean, be it acquisition, academic journey, be it alumni engagement. In all these aspects, there are multiple people spoke about ways in which we can proactively reach out to the members, right? So I need not wait and look at the data and then call out somebody that, hey, you have not been logging into the system. I have it already. Or somebody who has clicked on the start quiz button but has not yet submitted the quiz. I already have that data, right? I need not call them days after. I can proactively nudge them that, hey, we have observed that you have not logged into the system since quite some time. What's going wrong, right? Or you started the quiz, but you have not yet completed, started the assignment, but not yet completed. What's going wrong with you? right? So based on user tracking and based on an omni-channel nudge engine that you have orchestrated, it's very important to proactively real-time reach out to the person and engage them to ensure, they complete the journey with us, right? Proof in the pudding is only when there is completion and there are outcomes, right? So we have to leverage technology to ensure that there are proactive nudges which is happening. That is the outbound communication that the brand or technology will have with the user. The next one is inbound, whereby we provision a multi-channel experience for all the learners. Like we are also using Ozontel, and what we have done is we have enabled multiple channels for our end users to reach out to us, which is leveraging WhatsApp, leveraging an inbound call, leveraging a ticketing mechanism, a system. And the moment they reach out to us, it is very important to have a strong algorithm to ensure that the query reaches to the right person so that there is right first resolution and there is no long wait time which happens, right? And also, uh, once this inbound and outbound is resolved, right, what this generation looks for is a safe place for them to engage without the involvement of the brand itself, right? So if I go to an institution, if I'm studying on premise, I will be meeting at a joint in the institution and hanging around with my peers. Do I have that leeway in an online mode, right? Without being monitored by my, institution or by my edtech provider. So we should create a safe place or a community sorts where they can come, they can engage with each other. And if we do well, I think 50% of the problems will be resolved. There will be high level of engagement. There will be high level of outcomes. And within a community, the users themselves will help each other and solve for the outcomes, right? So these are a couple of things, and then yeah, I mean, we can divulge much into how we measure the performance of our customer support team by leveraging tools like speech analysis analytics, how we can leverage Gen AI and tools which we can divulge into as we proceed with this communication.
Yeah, Nihar, thank you so much for the insights, and thank you, I mean, highlighting to the panelists that you have been using our technologies going forward, right? And you see a vision out over there. Harsh, you had raised your hand. I mean, if you could just let us know what. Yeah, please. Harsh, you're talking on mute. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
We had been discussing how users got benefited or can be benefited. I'll talk about how they actually got benefited. So when this hybrid thing started,
Hmm.
uh, half of the students were still back home and some of them joined on campus. So to run a class in hybrid mode, almost all the institutions had to install a lot of technology within the class so that to run the classes in hybrid mode. Now, what good this has happened to all the students when they all are back on campus. Those hybrid technology tools are still existing in the class, which would have otherwise been taken maybe 2 साल 4 साल 5 साल कितने भी लग सकते थे. अब उससे सबसे अच्छी चीज ये हुई है कि internet is in the class all the time, which was a requirement for hybrid. So the level of teaching in the class has also gone up. Fine. Certain things which were not possible in the classes earlier because the internet was not available in all the classrooms. Even it was available, the screens were not there. Smart boards were not there in most of the at higher education level. Smart boards were still thing of schools. कॉलेज अभी भी चल रहे थे व्हाइट बोर्ड इन सर्टेन केसेस इन पब्लिक यूनिवर्सिटी ग्रीन बोर्ड और ब्लैक बोर्ड वॉट एवर वी कॉल इट सो यूजर सेंट्रिक जब हम एक्सपीरियंस की बात कर रहे हैं सो ये सारी चीजें हुई हैं और हम सब ने एट आवर लेवल एंड edtech has played an important role in providing such solutions. Some of IT companies have played very important role in providing these solutions, but my take is कि इसका बहुत बड़ा फायदा स्टूडेंट कम्युनिटी को हुआ है. Now it's always a give and take relationship. Right. This message is going across to students. And students are much more smarter than what we were, I believe, when we were in class, maybe first year or second year. I would I think some of or all of the panelists may agree to me on this. So a message to all the learners also. See, you are coming in a generation, or you are a generation where information is flowing to you. Fine. This is a message I'm passing to all the learners. I come from a generation, and I am sure most of us come from a generation जहाँ पे कि अगर हमें एक कमरे में 10 दिन के लिए बंद कर दिया जाए और न्यूज़पेपर हमें ना दिया जाए तो हमें नहीं पता चलेगा कि दुनिया में क्या हो रहा है। आज की डेट में अगर आपको कमरे में बंद कर दिया जाए और सिर्फ ये मोबाइल फोन दे दिया जाए और इसका नोटिफिकेशन ऑन है, तो आप मोबाइल को हाथ ना भी लगाओ, फिर भी एक नोटिफिकेशन टोन आता है और ये मोबाइल चीख चीख के कहता है मुझे उठाओ, आई हैव सम न्यूज टू शेयर विथ यू। अब वो न्यूज कुछ भी हो सकता है, हम उसका कितना पॉजिटिव एंगल लेते हैं, कितना नेगेटिव एंगल लेते हैं, वो एक अलग एस्पेक्ट है। सो अब वो वाला जमाना चला गया जब आपको रीच आउट करना पड़ता था। दिस इज अ वेरी गिफ्टेड जनरेशन जिनको कि दे हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस पर्टिकुलर पीस ऑफ बॉक्स विच आई एम होल्डिंग इन माई हैंड। मेक बेस्ट यूज ऑफ इट माई फ्रेंड्स। ये अगर आपको कहता है चीख चीख के कि मेरे पास कुछ बताने के लिए है, हो सकता है 10 में से 7 चीजें आपको डिस्ट्रैक्ट करती हूँ, बट वो 3 चीज जो आपको इंटरैक्ट कर रही हैं, टेक बेस्ट यूज ऑफ इट। दैट्स माई टेक ऑन दिस।
Harsh, this was so apt. I mean, you said it very right. के आज का generation, they are so much. I mean, they have so much technology supporting them. Vis-a-vis some 20-25 years back, जो नहीं था. Basically, we had to, I mean, get out things done, right? Physically जाना पड़ता था चीजें. अब काफी चीजें हमारे पास already है हमारे पास. Rather than going it anywhere, we can have this, use this tool. It's so powerful, right? This is just because the technology has enabled us, all of us, right? So I want to give each one of you a certain food for thought and hear from you. In the next 5 years, what do you feel? See, all of us will agree that technology definitely plays an enabler, right? In our whether it's through a university, whether it's through an ed tech, or whether it's through an aggregator, right? It is very important. Technology is a very important part of it, with different examples that each one of you gave, right? So I would want to hand it over to Anjani ji. Just want to have an understanding. What do you see 5 years down the line? How the technology will advance, or what important role it will play in terms of education, right? So I will want to hear from each one of you your thoughts on that. Anjani ji.
Thank you so much once again. It was very, enriching to listen all of you, and thank you so much for the wonderful insights and sharing your rich experiences. Really delightful, and I'm sure that every information that they have shared is a research paper, I must say, and the content to elaborate upon. And well said, Harsh साहब, कि फोन जब आता है तो ऑटोमेटिक हमें मजबूर करता है कि हम उठाएं, ये क्या एग्जैक्टली क्या आया है, मुझे बताओ क्या है ये। So similarly, I got a call from Ekta. Similar lines, अभिषेक जी ने जैसे बताया कि एक मैसेज आया हमारे पास में that this is it's a rewarding session that they are going to organize and this has motivated us. और ये वो 3 इंफॉर्मेशन में से है जो हमारे लिए बहुत यूजफुल है. So from my point of view, let me just bring down some conclusive things from my end for all of us, alongside for the people who are listening to us, and for those people as well who could not manage to be present online at the moment and listening to us. I'm just jotting it down, and would like to share with you. There is a need of intelligent experience engines. Once the era जब search engines की बात करते थे, अब experience engines की बात की जा रही है. And all of, I mean, people who are already in the trade of education, online education, they are already in practice of doing the same things. But here I would like to just bring a small example before you all. There was one company, Paytm. Each one of us used to have this application in our cell phones in 2020, but we hardly used to use this application. Local vendors के cash देंगे 20-25, but COVID ने हमें कहा कि online payments होगा, digital payments होंगी, और Paytm is the best tool. So Paytm got itself integrated with other applications like Zomato, Swiggy, and many other applications. Likewise, immediately after this COVID scenario, when our honorable Prime Minister also motivated and encouraged the citizens of this country to go for digital payments, they integrated this UPI system, also linked our bank accounts and everything. And today, despite of having 10,000 or more applications available, even today, every vendor who was sitting next door are using Paytm. They used to say that Paytm kar do. They don't say that use this application or that application. Now I could see many banks are accumulating all the services under one app. पेमेंट ऐप भी उससे हो जाएगी, या अभी यूपीआई भी हो जाएगा, भीम ऐप भी उसमें हो जाएगा, फोन पे भी उससे हो जाएगा. Why they are doing? So this is known as omni-channel. Omni-channel is a word which will help us to have a stronger connect with each and every stakeholder down the line. Down the line, not only 5 years, I'm telling about 50 years, 100 years. Talk about the generations. How it will gonna happen? Today, somebody got entered into my system after 5 years getting graduated of this from the university. That is only 5 year journey. So for this, let's say we have a separate portal for admission, then for a query, then academics, then thereafter alumni, then thereafter engagement. Different people, different setups. For this reason, first of all, we need to have an intelligent experience engines, omni-channel presence, which would enable a user not to go anywhere else. This is the only single application or the platform for to solve all the queries, to bring all the stakeholders from the university or from the organization perspective at under one roof, under one application. Second thing, almost each one of us have mentioned about the personalized content that we need to deliver. That will go into only on the basis of I was going, just let me just share one very basic thing. AI is an umbrella term for technologies that enable machines to learn from the data and experiences and machine decisions autonomously. ये कैसे आएगा, ये experience, ये personalization कैसे होगी? That will be the basis of the data that people are sharing with us, and that has to be, a vast number, but obviously, but there should be some agile practices. Agile practices, basically, it's more than a set of practices. It's a mindset that embraces, changes, values, individuals, and interactions. And for this reason, I mean, agile approach revolves around flexibility, responsiveness. If organizations do not see that there is a need, then why they will always going to have a tendency not to adopt. And this pushes us, first of all, to empower the employees. First, to tell them that this will not going to bring any threat to their employment. This will going to enhance the quality of delivery and the work that they are going to deliver to the audience. And beyond this, customer centric focus. Customer centric focus is highly desired. Gone are the days when we used to be stereotyped within our approach. यही है मेरे पास में, यही आपको मिलेगा. You go to the admission scenarios. Probably Sandhir sir will going to help us in getting the insight on the fact. Earlier we used to have last 10 odd years, 1 decade, when we used to have good amount of admissions in alone computer science engineering in comparison to many other core engineering branches. Today, if we talk about computer science engineering, students would like to know, sir, do you offer BTech in artificial intelligence? Do you offer BTech in data science? Do you offer BTech in IoT with specialization so and so? So I would not say it has gone down, but many other specializations have gone up. And this, why this has become popular? This has become popular because of the changing needs of the industry. It's not about कि मैकेनिकल की डिमांड नहीं है या सिविल की डिमांड नहीं है. डिमांड हर चीज की है, बट कुछ कोर्सेज की डिमांड एक्सेप्शनली अप गई है बिकॉज देयर इज अ नीड इन इंडस्ट्री. We need strong manpower who are highly equipped, strong practitioners of artificial intelligence, and we don't have the think tanks available, readily available. And for this reason, the ecosystem is desired. Ecosystem at the grassroots level. Grassroots level starts from the K12 level, and then thereafter going penetrating into the educational institutions, higher education institutions, where in which अभिषेक साहब ने बिल्कुल सही बताया कि एल्यूमिनाई को कैसे यूज भी करना है. I mean, why they will gonna connect with you unless until they have a strong desire and a purpose to connect. वो पर्पस क्या है? हमको बैंक तो है नहीं, इन्वेस्ट करेंगे पैसा वापस आएगा. What are we offering to them? There should be a push mechanism. हर्ष साहब की बात लेता हूं मैं यहाँ पर कि मोबाइल को खाली छोड़ दो, ऑटोमेटिकली 10 साल बाद एक नोटिफिकेशन आए एल्यूमिनाई के पास में, I think you must be having a 10 years of experience. Let's enroll for a research program meant for working professionals like you. Automatic push notification. people like organizations which are dealing into online classes, enablement of the students for JEE or NEET and other things. Let's say 10 plus 2, we have got some at 10 plus 2 level, we have got 10,000 entries who wanted to take admission into some courses for getting enabled on JEE and advanced and mains kind of curriculum. Unfortunately, could not manage to get entered or took admission in some courses. What about after 4 years? We can approach them for GATE. We can approach them for GRE or for higher, more things. Why we are not, reusing the similar information? Student ने अगर admission लिया है, कहीं ना कहीं तो BTech किया ही होगा. Why we are saying this data is now gone? JEE is gone. Let's plan for GATE. Let's plan for GRE. Let's plan for CAT. कि डेटा का जो मैनेजमेंट है ऑटोमेटिकली सिस्टम ऐसा होना चाहिए जो पॉपअप करके बाहर आए और बोले ये वो डेटा है जिसको अप्रोच करना है. आज आज ये बीटेक कर चुका है, अब इसको एमटेक के लिए अप्रोच करो. आई एम सेइंग इट कुड नॉट बी 100% accurate, but this will definitely going to bring at least 85 to 90% accuracy. This is my personal experience. And students who got graduated 10 or 20 years ago from MIT University precisely, recently conducted a small alumni event in which we celebrated our 25th batch, 25th year of passing out, the first batch of MIT University in a small seminar hall. Only 40 alumni, only 40, because the batch was of 40 only 40. But these alumni from across the globe planned this day, and they came down to the university at their own expenses. And what we have facilitated, we have only given the ecosystem and the facilities what we can provide. An online interface, a single point of contact, because of human intervention. Many of us have mentioned that alone technology cannot survive unless and until it is having a human intervention. Because AI practices how emotions will going to react. Monitoring is also required. Alone we cannot leave the technology, as the system will be stereotyped again. So this is on a humble note, this would be my submission to all, because technology adoption is really required. Cannot live without the technology at the moment.
Yeah, Jackie, we totally agree with you.
All the esteemed panel members,
Hmm.
that alternatives. We are Indians, we also talk about alternatives. हम तो बहुत बेस्ट कर रहे हैं, हमसे बेस्ट कोई है ही नहीं, और जिसकी वजह से ना हम इनफ्लेक्सिबल हो जाते हैं. And gradually we see people going ahead of us. What are these people? People are the organizations. We are representing organizations. I'm not representing myself, I'm representing a culture of organization. So we need to be flexible and need to see the footprints of the established and the most successful people out there in the industry, and see what best they have done for their organization to go on top. And now let's follow those footprints. So हमारे पास बहुत rich examples हैं, हमारे पास बहुत rich cultivation of ideas हैं, cultivated ideas हैं, rich experience holders in that same panel itself, I could say. तो इनके साथ बैठ के we can definitely build some more synergies and see that what could be the most effective channel in which student from entry till exit from the planet will remain connected with us.
Good, Anjani ji. I mean, good inputs on this. Sandeep ji, your views, please.
Thank you, sir. So such a insightful discussion we had, and very unique points everybody came across and everybody put across on the table. To me, it is too many things and too much of the things happening at the same time. See, I'm a teacher, so I'm going to a student's mindset. So when I think of a technology's role in education and experience of a learner, I personally feel that we should keep it very simple. See, we have to understand there are now certain hypotheses. First hypothesis is there is a uniformity in educational needs of everyone. This is an hypothesis. This is an assumption. Everybody needs same kind of an education and the same way. Reality is not that. Reality is different. Technology has to look at it. Second, technology is accessible and everybody can adopt to technological requirements. Now, the children are smarter than the parents, but the grandparents and the parents, those who have a real influence on the children today, still in India, they don't have that much of access and information for the technology, and for that matter, not even the love also. Even I mean, during the day, we say that go off the screen. Don't be on the screen all the time. And the children, they leave us, and for us, they are off the screen, but still they are on the screen, and they manage their ways. So, technology access and adoption is another hypothesis that everybody will have an access to technology. Everybody will adopt whatever the fancy things we talk about. That is also not a reality. That's another thing that we have to keep it in mind, especially those who are in a digital space. Uh, there are no homogeneous learning styles also. Everybody is different. I may like to learn something from a screen on a digital platform. I may not. I mean, there is enough of information available on digital space. But what if I want to still go to library and read the books, and I want to have that touch and feel experience of a pen and paper, and I want to write everything. I don't want to type. What is that? So assumption is a homogeneous, that everybody is there's a homogeneous learning style, but that's not right. English is the one language, but are we ready to serve every learner in the native language? That's another thing. No, these are the assumptions. We can't just overrule by looking at those fancy gadgets and the things which are happening around. Interesting thing is the limited parental involvement. We are east, west, sometimes half of east, half of west, sometimes 30% of east, 70% of west, sometimes 70% of west, or 20% of midwest or mid east. We don't know where do we stand. Still, if I say that there is a limited parental involvement, it's not true. In Indian society, parents are involved thick and thoroughly throughout the education journey of a child. At one time, I took away the mobile phones from my children. That don't look at the mobile. In pandemic, I gave them new mobile sets with all the applications loaded. That look at the mobile. And it was me who took away the mobile. It is me who gave the mobile. So who says that the parents are not involved and the customer is the only student who is learning? Parents are also there. In the pandemic, in the classrooms, even parents and the grandparents were also there. In one of the proctored examination, one student got a red flag. Why? Because his grandfather served him a milkshake during the examination. And that was red flag. Screen mein aa gaya uska dadaji. No, we have to discount all these factors. It's not only about technology. I mean, how to put it in a right use, that's also another thing. That's why I say that it's too many things happening at the same time and too much of the things are happening at the same time. This is one aspect. So let's understand the assumptions, hypotheses that we have in the mind. I understand everything. Technology has a great role. Now I come to the other side. What is that role? We generally talk about lifelong learning. Here comes the technology. Technology is a very good enabler for those who want to keep learning, who want to, who want to learn throughout their life. I'm in industry. I work 18 hours a day for a company. I want to learn few things. I don't have a time to go to campus. I open some apps. I open some classes. I take some short certifications. I take some skilling courses. I upskill myself. I upscale myself. That lifelong learning element can be taken care by the technology. I think this is the one area where educational institutions can use technology for alumni. Help alumni to be a lifelong learner by using technology adopted by educational institutes. If we can do that, trust me, it's a win-win. It's definitely a win-win. And similarly, even the faculty resources. In all these things, we have seen the learners. Let's look at the faculty also. So when I say the students and the faculty, both of them should grow, and technology can make them grow, be a lifelong learner. There's another thing where the technology can participate in their growth is the creating a positive environment. Mental health. We never spoke about that. But now we are talking about that. Anxiety, stress, so deep eye syndrome. So there are a lot of other issues which came on with the screen coming in the picture. So technology can help all of us in different areas, especially in education space where teachers and learners are involved. Technology can help us creating that positive learning environment around us. And trust me, technology alone cannot do it. Human touch is very, very important. So technology can help us in lifelong learner, making people lifelong learner, and the technology can help us creating that positive environment. And human touch is 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 very, very important. One of my very good friend, he kept on typing in one of the AI enabled application, 2 plus 2 is equal to 5. He did it for 3 months. After 3 months, he showed it to his son because his son was having a counter argument with him that AI is better than human intelligence. He proved that human intelligence is still better than AI because after 3 months, even that application started saying 2 plus 2 is equal to 5. So I'm telling this is my personal opinion here, but I think that the technology is a great support to humanity. The only thing is, it's a time I think we will reach that time where we have to consolidate everything that we have done. We have to take a pause. We have to arrange it in an order to get the best use of the digital applications we have and the technology for the benefit of everybody, be it a student learner, be it a parent, be it an administrator at education institution, or be it a faculty. If we do this step by step, trust me, we all will have a great experience, and we need not worry about creating an experience. You will feel that one automatically. Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you so much, Sandeep ji. I mean, this was like apt. I mean, you covered the other part of the technology or the other part of how the depressions and all that thing goes on, right? And how technology can probably we should look at going forward in terms of how do we make sure that the experiences are considered and we build the technology, innovate things just to support the ecosystem. Thank you so much. I think in the interest of time, we will have to, I mean, go ahead with stopping this. But before doing that, I just wanted to have, I wanted to, there are certain questions that were put across by our people out over there. So this question comes in for Vidya Mandir, Abhishek ji from Vidya Mandir.
Yeah.
How can the personalization help in JEE and NEET coaching? What is the best way to achieve it? So this question is specifically come for you.
Right.
Yeah,
So
please.
thank you, and whoever asked the question, thank you to that person also. See, we have to understand that what sir was mentioning, that AI allows us not only mass customization but mass personalization, right? Now, as a tool, it cannot be ignored, but a good point is that if we understand for whom it is meant for, so AI will be different for you, different for me. So like sir gave the example of 2 plus 2 being equal to 5 being written 20 times a day, it will still return a different answer for him than it will for a person who can end up writing 2 plus 2 equal to 4, right? That said, over a long period of time, any technology, and AI more so, will give you better decision making, will give you higher accuracy in production, in prediction, in predicting anything. And most importantly, it will constantly attempt to improve itself. The way AI works in AI or any other kind of preparation is that more the data that you provided, higher would be the help that you can derive from it. And more accurate the data, higher would be the level of, you can say, the accuracy of the advice that it can provide. So if someone wants an improvement in the way they are able to utilize their time, say in a 24-hour day cycle, so how many hours they are able to devote to studying, how many hours in terms of testing, how many hours in terms of the analysis they use, how many hours for sleep, eating, making sure, physically that they are active. More is the kind of information that you are able to provide, more it will help you. And deeper the information, more accurate will be the help. So why I keep on saying accuracy? Because today I can even give student an analysis which will help the student to understand that in chemistry, I am strong, but in organic, in this specific chapters of ketones, I am weak. And maybe not only this specific chapter, I understand the chapter also well, but when I'm using this concept, I always miss out on one basic understanding. So now we are not able to break it down to the exam level or the subject level, but or the chapter level. We are able to break it down to the concept level. I can even provide you an analysis that a particular kind of student, if he is taking more than 5 minutes in a question, then chances are that he will give the wrong answer. Why? Because more and more time he spends in the question, more and more nervous or desperate he becomes to answer the question accurately. Probably in that case, it will be better for the student to move on from that question. Right. So the way AI works is, so AI is not a magic wand like a Harry Potter's wand. You can't just wave it along. AI is a tool that you have to work with in partnership. You provided data of what you are doing. AI will tell you what are the chances of it leading to a successful or a negative outcome. Right. And over here, gamification is something which has worked like a charm for the students. Like, most of the games work because they reward you for doing something very regular basis, right? So in a particular game, like I remember, when we were young, Age of Empires used to be a particular game. We would go, we achieve something, and a new area opens completely for us. So similarly in education also, gamification, one thing that it is able to bring about a change in is, you do master a subject. More you master a subject, higher are the chances that the new avenues will open for you. Unless you've mastered a particular concept, do not move from one concept to the other. Do not jump, right? And gamification works on daily applauding, daily rewards, and that is how AI is also able to bring about certain changes. So, in fact, in our VMC education app, VMC student app, we have been able to use this to a pretty large extent. Getting students to study all three: physics, chemistry, and mathematics, or in case student is studying for NEET, then for biology, which is zoology and botany also, on a regular basis, it becomes very important. Because otherwise, what happens is, students have very strong likes and dislikes. I can be a student who really loves physics, spends 4 hours, 8 hours in physics, doesn't look at mathematics the entire day, or maybe organic chemistry the entire day. Usually physics and chemistry people pick up, but organic chemistry, maybe I'll not look at it entire day. But a good AI will keep on telling me that this is where I'm missing out. And the chances are that it will lead to a poorer performance because I have to clear basic cutoff in all three subjects. So that is the kind of analysis that one can get if you are using AI in the proper manner. But like I said, like sir was also mentioning, give it the right input. If you give it the right input, you will get the right output.
Perfect, Abhishek ji. I mean, this was apt. I think
Thank you.
that question has been answered. There is another last one before we sign off. This is primarily for Nihar. Nihar, there's a question which is around use of WhatsApp in creating a personalized experience. This, though, I can answer that, but I would want you to, because you have been using the technology and you are an apt user of it, right? So if you could just let us know how does this help you? I mean, use of WhatsApp in creating personalized experience in your environment.
Yeah, I mean, WhatsApp is a channel which, most of the people are using, right? That's a medium which we all are, and like one of the panelists said, whenever the mobile buzzes, we tend to look at it more often, and especially when the notification is on WhatsApp, we tend to look at more seriously, more intently, and see from which channel it is coming on. And again, like I had highlighted initially, I think WhatsApp as a channel cuts across the entire life cycle, right from the time when we are acquiring a lead, sending all the information on WhatsApp. That's the most convenient, medium on which we are used to looking at information. So that's one channel. Whenever the person gets converted, you use WhatsApp as a channel to notify and nudge them to complete their journey, to stay ahead of their peers, to ensure that they are compliant with respect to their submissions completions. And also for alumni engagement, you use WhatsApp to send a regular information. So basically on tip of or on their fingertips, you inform them and keep them updated with the information. WhatsApp has been advancing to a level where even the fee payment and payment will happen natively on WhatsApp, right? So basically all the workflows are coming on WhatsApp. If you talk about AI, we have been talking about AI, Gen AI, right? So Think about a WhatsApp-based professor, which will give you all the information, give you a simpler explanation, help resolve all your queries. Considering it is, guarded with the data set of your organization or your institution, right? So, and lastly, I mean, it enables a two-way communication as well. So far, we focused only on a unidirectional flow of information, but even bidirectional can happen, whereby using WhatsApp, the learner can engage with either a mentor, a support agent, a counselor, with the faculty as well, and have their doubts clarified. Right. So be it unidirectional, bidirectional, bot-led, human-led, WhatsApp is available across the life cycle, and it's one of the best mediums to connect with your end users. Also, it's important to monitor how this information is being received, right? So when you are sending a unidirectional set of messages, either through system or by a human, you should monitor how your people are engaging with it, right? That's where the dashboard which say you guys enabled is optimal, where I get to see whether it has been sent, whether it has been read or not, and whether people are responding on it or not as well, right? So it's very important to measure whether that's the most accurate channel or not. And I think in the future we'll be reaching a stage where, led by AI, we will be able to send nudges on the channel, where the learner reacts the most, right? So be on my preferred channel, on my preferred time of the day, on my preferred day of the week, I'll be receiving notification. And I think, when we reach that stage, WhatsApp will still continue to rule the channel on which you engage with your customers.
Yeah, Nihar, I mean, since now it has become much more, I mean, everybody is using the apps and everything, right? And WhatsApp is like the primary channel that will definitely, I mean, in the near future, we take that it will overtake all other channels, right? That is, we are sure to see that. So thank you so much for this response. And before, I mean, I conclude this, I wanted to also highlight there are a few of the audiences who wanted to get a deeper understanding on the different models in the education, how we are supporting the technology. Since we have been associated with 350 odd plus education institutions and we are providing them the services, we will get in engaged with them separately. Harshi, you had something to say. Please, you raised your hand. Sorry.
Yes. So before we conclude, I just want to add quickly
Yeah,
two
please.
things.
Yeah.
One, this is for especially message for all the students and parents.
Hmm.
Please understand technology will always be an icing on the cake. The icing will keep on changing. The base remains the same. You are reading a book on Kindle, but someone is writing that. That earlier those were written on a piece of paper. Now these are written on softwares and maybe Microsoft Word and all. So that's one. So always remember, icing is important, but base is more important. Go into the depth of getting any information. Second, this message is especially for students. See, in the process of choosing a program for yourself, please use the same method which you choose to choose a mobile phone. If I have to buy a mobile phone, what I do? First, I check my budget. My budget is 10 to 20,000 or 15 to 20,000. I want X size of mobile phone, X software, X camera specification and all. And what happens? The filter things comes in. And finally, when we push yes, हमें 4-5 मिल जाता है कि these are the companies जिसका मैं मोबाइल फोन अपने बजट में और अपने नीड बेस्ड ले सकता हूँ. Please do that when you are using technology to choose the program you want to study. पहले देखो, if you are from a city, आप कहाँ जा सकते हो? आपके पेरेंट्स अलाउ करेंगे नहीं करेंगे? आप टेक्नोलॉजी पे बहुत ज़्यादा एम्फेसिस देते हो, हर चीज़ आप सारे कॉलेजेस के वेबसाइट विजिट करते हो, अपने डिटेल्स हम तक शेयर करते हो, हमसे कनेक्ट करते हो, बट जब डिसीजन मेकिंग प्रोसेस आता है आप कंफ्यूज रहते हो. और ये टेक्नोलॉजी आपको थोड़ा ज़्यादा कंफ्यूज इसलिए करती है बिकॉज आपके पास एक्सेस है बहुत ज़्यादा इन्फॉर्मेशन का. लेकिन अगर आप उसको फिल्ट्रेशन प्रोसेस यूज करोगे, आपको पता है कि आपके पेरेंट्स आपको दिल्ली नहीं भेजेंगे, तो किसी भी दिल्ली के कॉलेज से इंटरैक्ट करने का कोई फायदा नहीं है. आपको पता है कि अगर एक्स कॉलेज की फीस एक्स अमाउंट है, वो आपके पेरेंट्स somehow we are a world जहां पे इक्वालिटी नहीं है in terms of finances, in terms of financial security. तो आप use these processes. Their technology can play a very, very important role. So use these so that we, as on the other side of the table, can really provide you the information you actually needed. Otherwise, what will happen? You will keep getting confused at the end of the day when you have to finally take a call. And as I said, technology will always be keep changing. आज से 20 साल पहले हम CCNA और सिस्को और इन सब की बात करते थे, आज हम AI और चैट जीपीटी की बात कर रहे हैं. बेस तो अभी भी सिस्को है, बेस तो अभी भी CCNA है. आज भी जावा, C++ किसी ना किसी तरीके में उससे ही चीजें निकल के आ रही हैं. So that's my take on, and thank you all, and especially to the team who organized this.
Yeah, thank you, Harshi. So we'll conclude this session. This was very, insightful from each one of you.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sandesh, Dr. Sudhir. Well, I really admire your passion. Thank you, Jagjit ji. Please give my regards to the entire team, Ekta
Sure,
and
sir.
entire team who arranged this. It was a wonderful experience to be a part of this. Good to know you, Nihar and Harsh. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
So
Thank you so
on
much.
that note, just a quick note, I myself Ekta again, I would like to thank all the speakers for taking out the time being here. Thank you, Mr. Jagjit, for wonderfully moderating and making it really engaging. Audience, again, thank you so much for your time. We shall be sharing the entire link of the video post this session and looking forward to reconnect with you some for interesting virtual sessions with Ozontel team. So on that note, thank you everyone and please take care of yourself and have a lovely evening. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.